Look at how adorable this thing is. Oh my God, it's so small. It's so tiny. I can fit it in the palm of my hand. Just the box, not even the thing. Oh, I'm so excited. I am a Sega kid. I had a Sega Master System when I was a very young kid. We might have had it when I was born. And then we got a Sega Genesis. This was my life for a long time, or well, what this represents. Now I had a Genesis Model 1. This is a Model 2. And fittingly, this is the Sega Genesis Mini 2. I actually have the Mini 1. It's a pretty nice little kit. It's modeled after the first model Sega Genesis, but it's got some issues with it. The number one issue is that there aren't that many games for it, and if you hack it, which is possible with Project Lunar, well, I mean, at that point, it kind of feels the same as a Raspberry Pi, because if you try to use the official interface for it, it just like lags and freezes. Unlike the Sega Genesis Mini 1, the Mini 2 only has a single wired control pad, but that control pad has 6 buttons, whereas the previous one had 3. They gave you the big chunky 3-button controller for some reason, even though some of the games used a 6-button controller. Yeah, let's take a look at the back. We've got Afterburner 2, Alien Soldier. Alien Soldier is actually kind of interesting. Lightning Force. That is a good game. It's also known as Thunder Force 4. Mostly the game is good for its soundtrack, but the gameplay is really good too. Midnight Resistance, Outrun, Outrunners, Phantasy Star 2, that is an amazing game. Unfortunate that Phantasy Star 4 isn't there as well. That's my favorite of the series. So yeah, over 60 classic and bonus titles. Let's get it out of its box. This is a much stronger lineup than the Genesis Mini 1. So I've got one 6-button controller that feels pretty much the way I remember them feeling when they were new, although the molding is not quite perfect. It's catching a little on my fingers. It also feels a little lighter than the original versions, but I might just be misremembering. We've got, of course, a little USB power adapter. This thing only just takes, I think, 5 volts, but it does have Sega Corporation on here. HDMI cable? I don't think that even has a Sega logo on it. Nope. And this here USB cable, which does have Sega on it. That's cute. The USB cable is micro B, so why am I unboxing the cables when I have the console right here? Let's get it out of its little baggie. Oh, that is adorable. Oh, that's not how the original power switch worked. That's how it worked on the Genesis 1, but the Genesis 2 had a push button. They messed up there. The cartridge slot does open though. And I don't think there's anything, yeah, it's just bare down there. I think with the Genesis Mini 1, they did actually have like a fake PCB down there. Does this come off? Oh yeah, it does. There's nothing to attach a CD attachment to though. Although maybe. They did release a CD attachment and I think a 32X attachment for the Genesis Mini 1. They didn't give you extra games or anything though, it was literally just a cosmetic thing. But it does have the mounts to go into a CD drive. This here is where some posts would have grabbed onto the CD attachment. I haven't been keeping up on this since it was announced because I wanted to do it for ShortCircuit. So I'm kind of going in blind here. And on the front, oh, that's the back. HDMI out and DC in. Nothing on the sides, but on the front, you get 2 USB ports. And that's kind of where they were, where the original controller ports were on the Genesis 2. And I guess fittingly for the Genesis Mini 2, it is smaller than the Genesis Mini 1, which the Genesis 2 was actually smaller than the Genesis 1. So there you go. I guess there's nothing else to do at this point but to turn it on and play some games. But before we do that, I'm going to talk to you about our sponsor, iFixit. Thanks to iFixit for sponsoring today's video. iFixit makes compact toolkits with all the essential bits you need to fix your electronics. From mini kits with 16 bits to full repair toolkits to start your repair business, iFixit has you covered. Use iFixit's over 70,000 repair manuals featuring photos and detailed instructions, and you can work worry-free knowing that you've got quality parts backed by iFixit's lifetime warranty. Right now, you can purchase an iFixit bundle and get 20% off your order, plus if your order is over $65, you get free standard shipping with code CELEBRATE. All the offers end on December 14th. I had it all set up here, but before I go and start playing games, I want to see, because I think this is actually as light as the controller is. Okay, 154 grams. Okay, 100 grams. And with the cable, it's the same weight. Okay. So it is on, or presumably. I don't see any lights. There's a little red indicator there to tell me that it's on, though. Fair number of languages built in. We'll go with English for now. Okay. All right, similar interface to the original. I'm going to turn this down a little bit. This is a very similar interface to the Genesis Mini Model 1. We've got all the box art here. I think we can toggle it to the side art as well. And we can, what's in the settings? There we go. Languages, game settings. Okay, so we can do 4:3, which is kind of what I would prefer. Actually, it looks like an integer scale if I'm looking at that correctly, because there are borders along the entire image, whereas that is just stretched. Which, I mean, if you like that, then good for you, but that's not me. The wallpaper, I think I'll go with the TV. Oh, sweet, okay. This is something that not a lot of people know about. The original Sega Genesis had like a warmer sound, whereas the newer Sega Genesis had like a kind of crunchier sound. I prefer the original. Really depends on what your childhood Genesis sounded like. You can just set it here, which is great. I love that. That's attention to detail that you wouldn't really expect, and I didn't get it in the Genesis Model 1 Mini. Mode button setting. Okay, so the mode button, I guess, will open the menu. Some games use the mode setting. I don't know if there are any games in this compilation that use the mode setting, so I'd probably do it for like hold for 3 seconds or maybe 1 second. I'll leave it on quick open for now though. And yeah, there's no like screen resolution settings. I think this is 720p. Credits, legal notice, perceptive factor settings. Okay, so let's play some games. Ecco the Dolphin. It's kind of a slower game, but I can play it. It's a Sega CD game. The display output is really good. They are not filtering this in any way, I don't think. So that's excellent. I guess I would prefer to have the option to have like composite video, because a lot of Genesis games especially made use of composite video for extra colors. So you can see in the background here with the clouds. Oh, well, you can see in the title screen here that there are a lot of colors that are just kind of like dithered. And on a composite display, those would have just become new colors. It would kind of blur together, and they would make it so that this whole scene wouldn't be like bandy and look kind of weird with different colors. I'd also like to have the option of scan lines, but that's kind of a hit or miss thing. Oh, there's the CRT filter. Okay, so we've got scan lines. I think we've got a slight blur as well, so you might see that effect. This is more what the developers originally intended, at least for this game, I think, because of all the heavy use of dithering. The clouds, when it stops scrolling here, look a lot more natural. It's not quite perfect, but we go back to the title screen here. We should also see that the colors are kind of, again, it's not perfect. It needs a little bit more of a horizontal blur, but you can see that it looks a lot more natural in terms of the shading. This is a good game, by the way. It's kind of like a puzzle game, sort of. Yeah, I think I need to talk to that guy specifically. And then I do this. There we go. And everyone got abducted. All right, let's swap out to a different game. A game like Lightning Force would be a lot better to take a look at input like, oh, original mode and high-speed mode. Right, the original version of this game had a lot of slowdown, and that actually affected not only the gameplay, but also the music. So if high-speed mode is what I think it is, then it'll remove that slowdown. So I'm gonna go with that. All right, seems pretty okay. This display is kind of low end, but it looks like everything is good. My assessment of what high-speed mode was is correct. I think we'll see it here, yeah. This guy has a lot of sprites. This would slow down tremendously if not for that mode. The thing about this game is you can actually adjust how fast you're going. So I'm currently at the slowest speed. Higher, higher, higher. I didn't say I was good at the game. It's been a while since I played through it. Oh, I forgot. That's not a background object. I thought it was in the early part. Wow, I am just sucking right now. Like half of this kind of game is like remembering the patterns, and I do not remember anything. Well, I mean, this would make me happy as a Sega fan, as someone who likes a lot of these games. Like this is a very solid lineup here. And as someone who, you know, likes video game history, like having access to Japanese games, European games, and games that I might not have previously played, like Mansion of Hidden Souls, which is supposed, actually, if I remember correctly, a pretty good FMV game, which is strange to say. They're actually coming back in style. How many games did the original have?
The original had 40.
Yeah, 40. So you're getting 20 more games. It's also $20 more than the original. So it's an extra $1 a game, but the original also had 2 controllers. If you want a second controller, you're looking at another $20. In total, a $40 premium over the previous version. Honestly, I think it's worth it. The previous version kind of went on super sale after a little while, just because it was, I mean, let's be honest, it didn't have a huge number of really good games. Like, it had some really good games. Like, I think it had the entire Sonic series on it, whereas this doesn't seem to have much of anything Sonic on it. So you kind of need 2 of them to get the full breadth of the Sega Genesis library. But at the same time, like, this is more representative of what the whole library had to offer than what the Sega Genesis Mini 1 had. You can set up an emulator box for less than this with a Raspberry Pi, but it won't look as nice as this. And this is kind of a collector's item. Yeah, I mean, shutting down. Yeah, it even has like a little shutdown sequence. I really like it, and that's why I'm going to take it apart. The thing about the previous Genesis Mini is that it had a lot of little Easter eggs in it. Like, there was a fake PCB on the inside that made it look like there was a cartridge slot. There was that attachment for the Sega CD. There was the attachment for the 32X, and I think there was also an attachment for like Sonic 3 and Knuckles to kind of make the full Tower of Power, which was really amusing. I don't know if they're doing that with this one or not. And let's be clear, it kind of is a cash grabby product too, just because of, I don't know, how many times have you bought these games, right? If you're a Sega fan. All right, let's get in there. That's all that's on the inside of that. I don't see anything super, like, fan servicey in here. LTDstore.com, by the way. I need to flex the plastic a little to do that. It's really stiff plastic. Yeah, nothing. That's a little disappointing, but, I mean, I guess it's to be expected. This is the second generation of the product. The first one was really kind of the big celebration. So if you want something that goes on your shelf and looks pretty and also can play some really good games, then the Genesis Mini 2 is a honestly really good little collection. I love it. I do wish that it had 32X games. Those are notoriously difficult to emulate though, so I don't really know if I can blame them too much for that. So yeah, for $100 US, you're getting legal copies of the games, you're getting a box that can handle them, and presumably that'll be hacked the same way that the previous one was too, so if you wanted to expand the library, you probably could. Not that I would recommend piracy, but if you own the games and say you've dumped them with, I don't know, a Sunny V3 or whatever, then yeah, that would be totally a thing you could do, and it looks really cute on your shelf. Just like you look cute when you watch a ShortCircuit. You should maybe take a look down below and maybe subscribe if you like this one. There are plenty more videos like this and unlike it. We do all kinds of things here.